Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video of Fox Reacts. Today we're checking out a kind of an interesting vid from Hoops and Hip Hop. What if Pokemon regions had more than 3 starter mods? Let's hop in.
Starter
Oh,
Pokemon are a signature part of any Pokemon game, and it's almost always the
and any
case
fan
that
game.
you have to choose between 3 different starter Pokemon when you begin your adventure. But what if there were more than 3 starters to choose from? In this video,
listening.
as I often like to do on my channel, we're going to take a look at a hypothetical scenario and see what it could be like if the regions of the Pokemon world had more than 3 starters to pick between, and
I'm
what
curious.
new starters in these old regions would be like.
Ooh.
Today, we'll be covering Kanto, Johto, and Hoenn, but if
Alright,
you'd like
a
to
good
see this
3.
done for all the regions, be sure to leave a like
here's
and
the
a
main
comment on
question
this
now.
video, and
What's
share
the
it
new
around
type?
to help it do well. And with that said,
What would be the
let's
type of
get
the
started.
4 starter? Grass, fire, and water have always been the
Okay,
main 3.
so
what's the
Kanto
4th?
is first, of course, and adding a new starter to the ranks of Bulbasaur, Charmander, and Squirtle is probably going to be the most tricky of all, because
Definitely.
they're just so dang iconic. With that said, though, I think I've come up with a solid idea, and that would be none other than this little fella.
Oh,
This is Snello, and he's a little
It's
electric-type snake. First of all, the artwork for Snello and the other starters in this video was done by my good friend Alestiva076, who will be linked in the description, and I highly
this
recommend
is the
you
guy
give him
that's
a
also
follow
done the
because he
whole
does
Proto and
great
Neo
work.
forms.
Back to Snello, though,
Alright.
I'm sure you have a lot of questions, like why an electric type? Why a snake? Well, allow me to answer those.
Electric probably because
First,
of Pikachu,
Snillo is an
Pokemon
electric
Yellow.
type because if there was a 4th starter type out there, it would definitely be electric, as
Yeah, that
Pikachu
just
has
makes sense.
served as a starter multiple times, in Kanto even, and is obviously electric type, so I felt
Very
it only
obvious.
made sense.
Alright.
Also, when it comes to the types of these mons, the balancing between the 4 isn't going to be perfect, because there's not really a quartet of types that are as balanced as grass, fire, and water are. However,
yeah.
the types I've chosen for these
Nothing
starters
beats
are
that
all
trio.
fairly balanced with the others, and frankly, this is just for fun, so it doesn't really matter that much, and it doesn't really matter that much anyway, to be completely honest. Pokemon has
I like
been
the
around
idea
for
of an
over
electrical
25
snake.
years. We all know how types work, and I think we would survive if the starters weren't completely 100% balanced. With all
Yeah,
of that
it would be
exposition
fine.
out of the way, though,
Interesting and
let's
fun.
get back to Snello. We've covered the typing, now how about the basis? He's a snake, obviously, and I believe this fits in with the other Kanto starters very well for a couple of reasons.
All kind of
First,
reptilian.
all the Kanto starters are either reptiles or amphibians, so another reptile was a no-brainer, and second, members of Game Freak have been on record in interviews saying that for the Kanto starters, they were all based on things that a kid could actually have as a pet in real life, like
And
baby
snakes are
turtles,
indeed one of
frogs,
the
and lizards.
kinds of
So
pets.
a snake also seemed like a good fit here,
know. I
since
had a ball
snakes
python.
are reptiles who can
Named it
definitely
Sniper.
also be
Well,
pets.
me and my family did.
Design-wise, we needed to keep it simple, since the official Kanto starters are all pretty simple themselves, and the same is true for their names, coming from what they're based on, combined simply with something that describes their type.
Oh,
This
snake
is also
and
where
yellow.
Snello comes from,
Okay.
as it combines the words snake and yellow,
I
which
completely
doesn't
get that.
instantly say electricity, like Charmander immediately says fire, but it itself is yellow, and yellow is also the color that is most commonly associated with electricity.
True.
Also, Snello
But you
is
have to
just an
tell it as
adorable name,
blue.
and I thought it fit this
Then
Pokemon's
again,
cute
blue's normally
design
used for the
pretty
electrical
well.
type moves.
So, there you have it, a hypothetical
Like Zip
4th
Striker.
Kanto starter. Would you pick Snello to travel through Kanto with? Let me know down below
final
as we
form look
continue
like?
on to the Johto region. As fun as making all these new Fakemon is, there's a price to pay to keep videos like this going, which is why I am super grateful for the sponsor of today's video, Dave.
Okay, we're gonna cut.
Dave
Well, back from that personal sponsor with the Johto starters.
Alrighty, getting back to the Pokemon, we now arrive at Johto, and let me tell ya, Johto's starters are one of the strongest starter groups in existence. I mean, just look at them. So we've certainly got our work cut out for us here. Joining Chikorita, my boy Cyndaquil, and Totodile is none other than this perfect specimen. I hope you guys enjoyed this little guy because I absolutely love him.
Is it ice type?
His name is Winterai, and although he is perfection, he is going to require some explanation. Just like our new Kanto starter, I wanted this new Johto starter to fit in with the common theme that the Johto starters share. And while Johto's starters don't have a theme that's as concrete as some of the other regions, a solid thing that does link them together is a theme of ancient creatures. You've of course got Chikorita, whose family are based on dinosaurs. You've got Totodile, whose family is based on crocodiles and alligators, which have been around forever. And then there's Cyndaquil, which itself is mostly based on an echidna. And echidnas are part of the order Monotremata, which are some of the earliest mammals to exist. And I'm no scientist, but I assume this is why members of this order, like echidnas and the platypus, are able to lay eggs despite being mammals, because I guess they're kind of transitional. Anyway, the TLDR is that they're all based on things that have been around for a long time, which is why Winterai is based on a rhinoceros, specifically a woolly rhinoceros. While woolly rhinos sadly aren't around anymore, their descendants are, and given that woolly rhinos were around during the Ice Age, it helps to give Winterai that ancient feel that the other Johto starters have. Despite being based on a rhino though, Winterai has a unique look to it, which was actually intentional, because two of the other Johto starters, Chikorita and Cyndaquil, have very ambiguous, non-descriptive looks, meaning that it can kind of be hard to tell at first glance what they're actually supposed to be. And so I wanted to include that ambiguousness into Winterai's design as well. Another reason it's based on a woolly rhinoceros is because it's ice type, and I chose the ice type as a starter type for Johto because, again, while it's not a perfect fit, it does create a type square, so to speak, with every type having an advantage against another. Ice is strong to grass, grass to water, water to fire, and fire to ice. Meanwhile, the name Winterai comes from winter because of its type and what it's based on, and rhinoceros, but spelled a little more phonetically to help get the pronunciation across. While I love all the Fakemon I've made over the years, I usually try to not pat myself on the back too much with them.
Winterai is
that's
definitely
just kind
a
of my
very
personality,
cute one.
I
I
guess.
would like
But
to have
Winterai,
that
I gotta say, Winterai turned out amazing in my opinion, and I don't want to say that I would pick it over Cyndaquil, but it certainly gives Cyndaquil a run for its money. That's how much I absolutely love
folks.
this.
We got an ad coming up, a regular one. We're back, and continuing on.
We have now arrived in the Hoenn region, and the starters here are the beloved Trico, Torchic, and Mudkip. These three are definitely amongst the best of the best in terms of starters, and they're kind of tricky to add another member to, because they are so good as a trio.
Flying type?
And also, similar to Gen 2, they don't really have much of a shared theme that really shines through. In fact, I would say they have this even less than the Gen 2 starters. The only shared trait that I could personally see with them was a theme of pets, just like with Gen 1, but on the more exotic tropical side, since geckos, birds, and axolotls can all be had as pets, but they're not necessarily your run-of-the-mill pets either. The tropical feel also goes with Hoenn as a whole being more tropical, and ultimately, this led me to Spetot, our hypothetical fourth Hoenn starter. In attempting to keep things as balanced as possible, I decided to go with the bug type for our typing here, since it creates the same kind of type square that the ice type does, and I felt that the bug type also fit the more tropical nature of
look
Hoenn.
at that thing. That is
As far as what Spetot is, well, it's a ladybug. Well, not yet. It's actually in the larval stage right now, but it is based on the 22-spot ladybug larva. I chose this because in terms of bugs that you would keep as a pet, the ladybug is right up there, as it's one of the most charming and endearing bugs that are out there, and it doesn't really gross people out the way other bugs do, so I felt like it was a great choice for a starter. I picked the 22-spot ladybug in particular, though, because instead of the usual red, these ladybugs are yellow, which helps to feed into that exotic tropical flavor I've mentioned that Hoenn has. And it also gives Spetot its own individual body color that can help distinguish it from the other Hoenn starters, who are green, orange, and then red later on, and blue, respectively. Lastly, the name Spetot actually works quite well, because it begins with the word spot, referring to the spots ladybugs have, as well as the name Spot, which is a stereotypical pet name, which works perfectly with this being a starter Pokemon, as well as the apparent pet theme that the Hoenn starters could potentially have. Then, the actual word pet is put right in the middle of the word spot.
It's right in the middle of it, I tell ya.
And this ends up forming the word tot at the end, as in a toddler or a baby, which works perfectly since Spetot is a first-stage Pokemon. So, yeah, all things considered, Spetot is what I was able to come up with for another Hoenn starter. And if it's something you would choose for your Hoenn adventure, you'll have to let me know with a comment down below. And there you have it. Which of these new different starter Pokemon do you enjoy the most? Let me know in the comments below, and be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and if you'd like to see a part 2. With that said, I'll be back with another...
Oh yeah, I remember I watched this guy before with if the Legendary Trio's got a 4th member. Well folks, that's where we're going to end off today's video. I want you all to remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more. Down in the description will be a link to the original video, so remember to support the original channel and all they do, and I'll see all of you folks next time. Peace out.